Step away from that gate, or I'm calling the sheriff. Marissa Klein stood in the middle of my driveway with 2 security guards behind her. One hand raised like she owned the place. She had already cut the chain on my farm gate. I looked at the broken lock lying in the dirt. Then I looked at her. Who gave you permission to come onto my property? She smiled. The HOA did. I almost laughed. There was only one problem. My 94-acre farm had never been part of her HOA. Not one day. Not $1. Not one signed document. I stepped out of my old pickup and walked toward her slowly. The 2 men beside her moved forward, but I raised my hand. Don't. They stopped. Marissa tilted her head. You seem very confident for someone who is about to lose his property. My property. She pulled a thick folder from under her arm and waved it in front of my face. This land is part of the new development zone. The HOA has legal control over access roads, construction boundaries, and abandoned agricultural parcels. I stared at the papers. There was a map of my farm. There was an HOA letter. There were signatures. And there was even a county stamp. For a few seconds, I said nothing. Because the papers looked real. Too real. Marissa noticed my silence and smiled wider. Your best option is to cooperate. Sign the transfer agreement, take the payment, and move somewhere else. How much? She looked surprised. Excuse me. How much are you offering for my farm? $200,000. I looked across the fields behind her. 94 acres. My family's land. The farmhouse where I had grown up. The barn my father built with his own hands. And she thought $200,000 would make me walk away. No. Her smile disappeared. You should think carefully. I already did. She stepped closer. You have 24 hours. I looked at the broken gate. 24 hours for what? To leave. That was when one of the guards reached into his jacket and pulled out a badge. He held it up for me to see. County enforcement, he said. I stared at the badge. Then at him. Then back at Marissa. She had made one very serious mistake. She thought I was just a farmer. She had no idea who she had just threatened. I reached into my truck, pulled out my phone, and made one call. Dispatch, this is Sheriff Everett Hale. Marissa's face changed instantly. The guard lowered his badge. And for the first time that morning, nobody said a word. You picked the wrong farmer to threaten, : The silence lasted only a few seconds. Then the phone in my hand answered. Sheriff Hale. Yes, I said. I need deputies at my property. Possible trespassing, attempted property seizure, and suspected impersonation of county officers. Marissa's face went pale. You're the sheriff? I looked at her. I've been the county sheriff for 6 years. One of the guards immediately stepped backward. Marissa pointed at me. That's impossible. I checked the county records. You were listed as Everett Hale, farmer. I am a farmer. I looked at my fields. I just happened to be the sheriff too. She quickly grabbed the folder. This is all legal. I have documents. Then you won't mind showing them to the real deputies. Less than 10 minutes later, 3 patrol cars came through the same gate her men had broken. Marissa tried to explain everything before the deputies even stepped out. They told me this land belonged to the HOA. One deputy looked at me. Sheriff. I nodded. Secure the property first. Then take those documents. Marissa handed over the folder. The deputy studied the first page. Then the second. His expression changed. Sheriff. This county seal looks wrong. Marissa stopped breathing. The investigation uncovered something much bigger than a fake HOA notice. The map had been changed. The signatures had been copied. The county seal had been taken from an old public document. And the worst part was that Marissa wasn't working alone. The HOA had been trying to buy several large properties around my farm for months. Once the owners refused, they created fake debts and false property records, hoping to pressure them into selling. My 94 acres were the final piece. A new private road was planned straight through my fields. The developers expected to make millions. But they had made one mistake. They assumed nobody would fight back. The two men who came with Marissa were arrested for trespassing and impersonating county officials. Marissa was later charged after. Investigators connected her to the forged documents and the illegal property scheme. But the biggest shock came during the court hearing. The judge looked at the original county records and asked Marissa one simple question. Why did you believe you had authority over this property? She had no answer. Because there had never been an HOA right over my farm. Not once. Months later, the entire development plan was gone. The fake road was removed from the county maps. The HOA was forced to pay damages. And my farm stayed exactly where it had been for generations. One evening, I stood beside the old gate and replaced the broken lock. My son looked at me and asked, "Dad, are they ever coming back?" I smiled. "No." He looked at the badge on my belt. "Because you're the sheriff?" I shook my head. "Because this is our land." I looked across the 94 acres as the sun went down behind the fields. People sometimes think owning land means having a piece of paper that says your name. It doesn't. It means protecting what your family built. It means knowing your rights. And sometimes, it means staying calm when someone with power tries to convince you that you have none. Marissa thought she was taking a farmer's land. She never realized she had walked onto the property of the men responsible for protecting the entire county. And that was the day she learned one simple lesson. You can fake a document, fake a badge, and fake authority. But you can't fake the truth forever, :